What's up, sports fans? This is Tyler Avalette.
And I am not Jake Waxman.
All joking aside, that's Jim Powers. He is going to be filling in for me for Jake Waxman today. I'll also be having other hosts next week, as he is off these next 2 weeks. He will be back in his regular spot on the 22nd. And today I want to thank Jim Powers for coming on today.
Thank you very much for having me on there. Tyler?
Absolutely. Let's get going. And to start, it has not actually been a fun time to be a Tigers fan these days. Yes, they're still in the lead in the Central, but having lost to two to the Philadelphia Phillies and then two to the Minnesota Twins haven't exactly been fun times these days, has they not?
No, you were hoping that they could at least be 500 for the rest of the season, which they would cruise into first place, but losing 4 or 5 games in a time is not good.
Now, granted, they also had that rough skid that I talked about in the past in July as well, which didn't exactly help their cause. And you got a team like the Brewers who who became the first to win 70 games this season. So there's that. And that team has been playing really well in the NL Central, even with the Cubs still doing fairly okay, as Jake would talk about. But the Brewers are just pretty good. The question is, can the Tigers, guys like Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and others, can they turn it around?
Well, I know they picked up some players for their bullpen. They tried to share it up, and they got Charlie Morton, who's a veteran, to try to fill in. And if those guys fit, you never know.
Yeah, that's the thing. You never know what you help. I mean, we got some guys still in the minors. We got guys in double and triple A, especially some guys in Erie that are promising enough that local TV here has been aired a game, Erie Seaworld game yesterday, and airing a few more this month, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. But hopefully, but the good thing is, it's summer. It's August, and there's a possibility of this team getting their act together at the right moment as we head into September. Is that positive to really think about?
And maybe the bats will start hitting again.
I know when I was watching the game on Wednesday that Spencer Torkelson, he hit a home run. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't want to say, but Riley Green's also struggled even with his mustache rally support, and even some of our pitching hasn't been pretty good. Now, I hope tonight when they face the Angels next this weekend, tonight is when Tarek Skubal starts on the mound, and I hope he is as lights out as he was last weekend against Philly. That's what you want to hope for with this team. The bullpen, I hope, is pretty good. I hope the bullpen's okay. But really, you want Skubal to go 6 innings, not tax the bullpen too much.
Yeah, and Tigers get some runs quickly. And Kerry Carpenter's back, right?
Yeah, he's back as well. He's had a few home runs too, which has been nice.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly a rough time in Detroit, but also it seems that the New York Yankees have also been struggling in the East, and I think Toronto's also not doing too well. But the problem is that it's just July and into August now, and they keep calling this the dog days of summer. So hopefully by September, any questionable teams that have questionable concerns like Detroit are able to pass things up pretty easily.
Well, you're hoping that the coach actually knows how to motivate the team, and also somebody in the locker room to keep them from getting into these ruts. It's not good, and a coach needs to know how to stop it. Maybe change up the lineup or something. That's what coaches are supposed to do.
Yeah,
Not let them skid like that.
yeah, I hope AJ Hinch, he keeps saying the right things about hoping that the team gets better, but
Yeah.
you can only say so much really before you're at the point where you lose the locker. I'm not saying the locker room is lost in Detroit yet because they have that get 6 game or so lead in the Central, which is good, but we'll see. There's still plenty of time to right the ship, especially as you get closer and closer into October. What happens going into the postseason? Anyone's game. Take the Brewers, for example. They have the lead right now. They're the best in the baseball, but one thing I've also noticed a lot in October, they don't close it out at all. I've seen them eliminate in the wild card round, eliminate in the divisional round, get eliminated here in the championship round. They never make it. They haven't made it to the Fall Classic since the early 80s. And even then, they would have lost to St. Louis in 1982. So there's that. Milwaukee just is a team I really question. Have they also peaked early?
We still got to worry about Cleveland and Minnesota.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Minnesota took the 2 from the Tigers as well. So and that's a team that had quite the fire sale a few weeks back at the end of the deadline. So that they still were able to take 2 from the Tigers, that's crazy.
Yes.
But then again, the fact that the Tigers had these issues isn't exactly helping it at all. You got any other subjects, anything you want to talk about as well on this subject, Jim?
On the Tigers?
Yeah, or in baseball and all.
Well, I just hope that with all the new pitchers and everything that the coach gets a lineup he wants and figures out where they are fairly quickly. So.
Yeah, hopefully I can go back to talking to you all about exciting times in baseball.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm struggling on the struggle bus right now, and it's not pretty. It's not a fun time in Detroit, even with that lead. Now,
Right.
Yes, when even the '84 Tigers had issues. I'll say that as someone who was not born at that time, so I can't say much about how that went.
Well, so they were 35-5, and then they went the rest of the season at 500. So that's all they had to do. You know, they had such a big lead, and they just kept it. So that's what our Tigers need to do in 2025 is.
Yeah. Hopefully they can have that mode spark again. That's the thing we have. We had that cushion, but we're watching that cushion go evaporate slowly. We're no longer the best team in all of baseball, or even the American League for that matter. We're still in position for a first round bye, yes, but hopefully, like we keep saying, hopefully things change in soon, so that we even have postseason baseball here in Detroit once again.
Right.
I'm sure it will, but hopefully soon get things fixed. And I'm sure Jake would probably say the same about the Cubs if he were here right now.
No.
No. But seriously, though, Jake, if you do see this by the time it's uploaded, hope you're having a good time. And like I keep saying, everyone, he will be back in a few weeks, so he'll be back to normal. Anyway, Jim, we also have Lions preseason football. I mean, yeah, it's just preseason, and we're still a few weeks away from when the regular season starts, right?
Yep.
And last week we saw the Lions not do too well against L.A. the Chargers and down in Canton at the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah,
but
we don't have a backup quarterback.
the thing is about preseason though is the records don't matter. Obviously, I mean everyone's 0-0 for a reason heading into week 1. but it's all about figuring out who makes the cut toward the end. Yeah, you're gonna have your starters that are definitely gonna make it in. I mean, the Goffs, the St. Browns, and
Well,
others. They're gonna make it in.
but you want to show your depth in the preseason. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't see any kind of backup quarterback. I don't know what's going to happen
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, tonight is going to be interesting as we're heading toward them facing Atlanta and down in the ATL. But I just hope that whoever, like, what we can get is something a little more decent than what we have. I'll be saving my thoughts on the overall team when we get the final roster as we get when we get towards the start of the regular season next month. But for now, I just hope that with the team today, they do good against Atlanta. And
Yeah.
so yeah, granted, like I said, it's just gonna be backups, and it's not gonna be likely not gonna be inspiring football that's gonna win you a Super Bowl.
But our division is going to be one of the top divisions again, which we haven't seen in a long time. Our division being one of the best divisions in football. So,
Yeah, the NFC North is going to be quite the fun matchup to worry about, and also not so fun if you're in the division at the same time.
right.
Minnesota's looking going to be good. Chicago, they might be promising under Ben Johnson now. Green Bay is definitely going to be around for a while, like they always are with young players. The Lions need to really step it up and hope we can not have all these defensive injuries like what happened with guys like Aiden Hudson last year. All those injuries came back to bite us in the divisional round against Washington for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just hope that the Aiden Hudson and Kirby Joseph and others can do well, and I hope we don't have too many of these injuries. I just hope our Jameer and guys in offense like Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and others, and David Montgomery, I hope they're still got plenty of their flashes of brilliance too.
Well, what about losing our offensive coordinator?
Yeah, losing Ben Johnson to Chicago stings a little. I hope he does well, but for the 2 games we play against his team, he's an opponent we need to worry about beating in our eyes. Just as much as we need to worry about beating guys like Caleb Williams.
I think they're going to have J.J. McCarthy as their quarterback, if I'm not mistaken.
I think JJ's over in Minnesota.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's another team we have to really worry about, not the Bears. I mean, Bears have Caleb.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying that, both those teams are going to be right on their heels.
And I also mentioned Green Bay. Like you and I talked about prior to coming on air, that they're a young team.
They were the youngest team in NFL last year.
Even more so young. Yeah, definitely young, yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like I said, the North is not going to be pretty.
And Green Bay loves their quarterback.
So much, his last name is that.
I know.
It just fits.
And it's funny that the old quarterback from Green Bay is now the quarterback at
Pittsburgh,
which just doesn't make any sense at all. But anyways.
On the plus side, with regards to Aaron, we don't have to worry about facing him much anymore. We just face him once late in the season against Pittsburgh, and then he's retiring, so that'll be it.
Yeah.
No more him tormenting us in Green Bay. No, like that embarrassing miracle in Motown a decade ago.
Yeah.
With that Hail Mary that happened because of the FaceTime. And I still think my argument is still that should not have happened because the clock hit 0, but NFL rules say you can't end a game on a defensive penalty. So the rules are there for a reason. I saying that, and so for me being upset that the game ended that way. But Dad, when correctly, my late father told me correctly that you can't end it on a defensive penalty. So
Well,
there's that.
also you have to favor your. I think they also favor their favorite teams too. Now Detroit's a favorite team, so
I mean,
maybe we'll get more calls.
we'll
I'm just
see
saying.
about that.
I'm just saying. It does seem to happen. I don't know.
Also, Philly's definitely hoping to not be a slouch at all. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl. And I've been hearing a lot of rumblings that the Chiefs dynasty might be dead. I smell a lot of uncertainty around that
Yes.
possibility. I mean, granted, everyone's getting old. Father Time waits for no one and is undefeated. And guys like Kelsey and Isaac Pacheco and Patrick Mahomes aren't going to be superstars forever. But even still, they may have been denied the three-peat. But I'm not counting Kansas City out at all.
How about the Chargers?
Okay, just because they took advantage of a lot of miscues by the Lions last week, you can't really base a team season on one preseason game. But even still,
They lost their lineman to injury for the rest of the year.
oh well, that's a bummer.
Yes,
Yeah, that is. I don't.
They just
wanna-
gave him a. They just gave him a big contract too.
a big contract, and he's out for the year.
So they're going to be scrambling. So
That's a guy you aren't going to be picking if you do fantasy football, that's for sure.
yeah,
But I don't want to have any advantages based on injuries and what have
Right.
you, or disadvantages on injuries.
well, when did we lose? We lose Hutchinson in what, the third game or?
Week 4 or something was against Dallas. I was at a watch party at Ford Field. Had a watch party.
Yeah,
for that.
that was so terrible.
Yeah, that was just awful to watch. As fun as the game as it was being at that game, it was just. And really, like I said, all those injuries came back to bite us against Washington for a reason. You just knew that eventually that was going to happen, and it happened at the
Yeah.
worst time. I would have been okay if it was an NFC loss, championship game loss, but it was the divisional round. We didn't even get the fairest chance to make it that far because of all those injuries.
Yeah, my thing is being a fan. It seems to be when you like players on a team, because everybody likes certain players. They watch them in college and coming up. That the trading is insane nowadays. That people just come and go like crazy on the teams, and you just never know. I don't know. Even star players. I don't know what Dallas is doing, but
Right, yeah. I mean, Dallas can do all they want, but they haven't won a championship in 3 decades.
yes,
They can call themselves America's team all they want, draw the big audience in the late afternoon game in Texas on Thanksgiving Day, have a fair amount of games in prime time and the late afternoon 4:25 slots as well. They can do all that fun stuff, but not once in the 21st century have I seen them playing in the big game. Only when they hosted the Super Bowl in 2010. And no, that does not count. You can also say that the only way the Lions were the Super Bowl was when they hosted it. But I like the chances of the Lions still more than I do with Dallas.
yes.
And I'm not just saying that I like the Lions chances more than Dallas because I have family that like the Eagles, which I do.
I only liked them when they beat Kansas City.
Yeah, I had good reasons like I said, I have family reasons to root for the Eagles down in New Jersey. So unless we play them, same with the Phillies and Tigers, like it was last weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, your point is valid. I might like guys like Aiden Hutchinson for the fact that he went to Michigan, and also another guy in offense, Isaac Tesla, TESLAA is the last name, and he's also from our state. newly drafted, played in our state as a lineman. I'm giddy that we have guys from our state playing for the team. That's cool.
Yeah.
But, and I'm also giddy that, and you can say the same about guys on the wings too, especially Larkin, the Waterford boy.
Yeah.
But even I have to know this. How long can you have them on the team? How long were they going to want to be able to are they going to be such a positive impact for hometown fans before eventually before their contracts end and they demand more money and that
Well,
your team might not be able to afford?
Eiserman was on the Dead Wings for quite a while, and he played with, I called them pylons, where he'd pass the puck to guys and wouldn't go anywhere.
Oof.
But he stuck it out, and then they started winning.
I remember all the winning.
Yeah.
Even
Then they became one of the top teams for 25 years.
Seriously, watching that playoff run was still impressive, even if toward the end there was nothing to write home about. Although I
Right.
wish 2013. I remember watching the 2013 round against the Blackhawks, that when they ultimately beat us in 7 games. When we were up 3-1 in the series on that one, I remember watching that, and Jake at the end of that game, Jake thought, "Oh, it's all over." He sent me a message saying, "I'm going to congratulate you on winning it." And then his team pulls the reverse sweep. Not fun,
No.
but we both look back on. I can look back on that fondly and realize that was actually fun. And seriously, I miss facing the Blackhawks more than twice a season. On that note,
And then like the Red Wings won like 5 championships in like 5 or 6 years back in the 50s. And then, the Red Wings won 5 championships in like 10 years, in 90s and early 2000s. So it's amazing when you finally get that chemistry. That's what I'm hoping with the Lions, that they become like the Patriots did.
yeah,
It's amazing.
as much as we hated them,
But they're in that all the time, even if they're not winning it. But you get to see them in the playoffs, like it's a regular thing.
we're getting. I mean,
Even the Tigers would be nice to see them every year in the hunt.
yeah. We'll see how it goes. It's bet with Lions, and Jake and I will definitely be talking a lot more in depth with football. That's for sure. When we get closer and closer to to early September, when the season really gets going,
And
because that's when it's going to get a lot fun.
and you see all the stuff the Red Wings have been getting into. They got some actual goalie, John Gibson. He's a real goaltender, and they're trying to get McTavish. I think that would seal the deal for we get in the playoffs.
Hopefully, it'd be nice to cap off the upcoming centennial season with my first playoff appearance in years.
Yeah,
Heck, they're bringing back the old Hockey Town logo on center ice.
100 years.
That's going to be impressive. Chicago's also celebrating their centennial, so those 2 games we play against them is going to be fun.
But they're definitely going to be in the playoffs this year, so I already told you.
I'll keep that in mind when Jake and I get close to October.
Yeah, okay.
Folks, these aren't just me plugging in future things for the upcoming, as we get closer and closer to both respective sports' starts next 2 months. These are just things to consider. Jake might not be so optimistic about his Blackhawks by then,
Yeah, good.
but I still one day, if we're good and they're ever good again, I wouldn't mind a Stanley Cup final matchup. That'd be fun.
Yes.
Makes up for only playing them twice a year.
Yes.
Anyway, I think we got time for like one more subject or something. We also got college football coming back up by the end of the month.
Yes. And looks like the Michigan actually has a quarterback for the first time since JJ left.
Yeah, I hope Sheldon Moore can replicate some of the success that he was able to somewhat witness while serving some of Harbaugh's suspensions back in 23.
But he's always won the big game, no matter, even without a good team. I mean, he's beat Alabama, Ohio State,
Yeah, I mean,
Penn State. I mean,
yeah, and think about, especially Ohio State. Think about if you were playing on the team as a freshman in 21, you knew nothing but beating them. The red and gold and silver. You knew nothing but beating the Buckeyes twice at home, twice in Columbus.
and they were the national champions.
Oh, there's that as well. Beating, winning
But they
it all.
they still lost to Michigan, which the fans are still mad
I mean,
about.
Michigan. I'm talking about as a Michigan fan. If you
Yeah.
play I mean, and Ohio State, let them be salty.
But Ohio State always has a good team. So it's weird that the way our division is now, it used to be Michigan and Ohio State, and Michigan State would be there, and Penn State, but we now have Washington and
Oregon,
Oregon,
and the two LA schools.
yes, USC, and yeah,
Yeah, USCLA. Yeah, and not to mention ACC has two California teams in the San Fran area, and Cal Berkeley and Stanford. Teams in the Pacific Conference.
yeah, it's all about the money, isn't it?
Yeah, at least the SEC has kept itself fairly regional.
Yes.
I mean, Texas and Oklahoma are definitely still. I mean, Oklahoma and Texas are still in the southeastern southern schools to an extent, and are somewhat in the southeast region. So at least they kept themselves confined.
Oh, remember that Colorado Rockies used to be in our division and get
I
some Red
remember the
Wings.
Rockies. Avalanche.
The Avalanche. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rockies are baseball.
Right.
We swept them back in May, in late April, early into May. Well,
But I mean, it's weird how they put. I think it's all about money, where they put teams so they can match up.
look, let's go back to the Wings a little. Wings,
Yeah.
and when you talk about the Avs, and yeah, I miss facing teams like the Blues and the Avs and the Blackhawks,
Yes.
but I don't miss the 10:30 West Coast games that much.
Oh, those are awful.
We don't have thankfully, we only have to do one trip to Anaheim, one trip to LA, one trip to San Jose, one trip to Seattle, one trip to Utah, and one trip and one appearance in the Western Canadian regions in Alberta and Vancouver. So I'm just glad we don't have to make multiple trips.
Right.
So it's nice being able to have a lot of games at in the 7 p.m. Time zone. And nice to face teams like Toronto and New York and all the teams in the Eastern Conference again. It's still good.
Yes.
I just don't, like I said, I don't miss the late nights.
No.
The realignments 12 years ago had their pros and cons.
Right.
I mentioned the cons, but yeah, and I mentioned both pros and cons, like I said. So,
And I don't like to find out games the day after. I'd rather watch it. So, and you'd only make it through the first period, and some of those games start at 10:30.
heck, and I know how you feel. I mean, the Tigers are set to play. They have a trio of West Coast games against the Athletics playing in a minor league ballpark in West Sacramento. Stupid John Fisher moving the team from Oakland to try and move them to Vegas. But anyway, those are going to be starting at 10. But the good news is we only have those three. And when I looked at the rest of that schedule, I saw that we don't have any more West Coast games. We already played the Dodgers out west. We played the Angels out west. We played the Mariners out west as well. So, and we also hosted the Diamondbacks and Padres and the Giants. So we don't have to worry about going out west out there for baseball.
Yeah. And trying to find the sports teams, I guess, is a lot easier now that the FanDuel picked up all the Detroit teams now.
Yeah, and I'm able to watch them on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It helps that my TV doesn't have a FanDuel native app on LG.
Yeah.
But yeah, FanDuel. On
I
Amazon.
mean, it's
What a
gotten.
godsend.
It seems like it's gotten better where our Detroit teams are now. You can actually watch it on one station.
Well, I mean, except for if you have a game on Apple.
Oh,
We got one later this month in August against the Royals, and then one next month at the end of the season against the Red Sox. But besides those two games, it looks fairly simple. Of course, you're gonna have to have a cable subscription still to sometimes see if there are any games on ESPN. If we get any more next month, maybe unlikely. We'll see. But for the most part, except for the two Apple games I mentioned, you look like you're in smooth sailing with having the games on FanDuel.
yeah.
Now, does that service stay long term going forward when various local things end their contracts and what have you? I doubt it. The winds of change are still picking up are still happening no matter what happens. As sports fans, we got to really know that those winds of change are coming. You just got to be ready for when.
Because
that
aren't
happens.
Detroit going to get a WNBA team now
By 2029.
by 2029?
Cleveland 28, Detroit 29, Philadelphia 2030.
I was just wondering if that would make the subscription look better on Sports Channel. So
that could make them look good in the summertime, or they could just go for exclusively on streaming, or they could just go exclusively on an over-the-air channel. We'll see. That's still a few years away. So we'll see. We just have to really watch the landscape of the sports viewing landscape going forward as to how things are going. I mean, MLB's wanting to renegotiate their contract, many of their local and national contracts when that expires in 28. When the current package expires, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
it's so difficult.
And I'm hearing rumors of Netflix wanting to have the home run derby starting next year.
Oh,
For at least the 3 years that ESPN was supposed to have aired it, because they're opting out.
so I got my 5 fantasy football teams starting next week.
I got mine with Jake starting later in the month.
Well, I get the teams, so
Yeah, I got the draft. He and we got the draft later than April,
Yeah.
so there's that.
Yes.
All the preseason games already finished up, so we got a little time until the draft ends, until draft day.
I do automatic draft.
I wonder when-
Right.
You feel like you think you talked a lot today?
Yep.
Well, Jim, it was great having you on.
Thank you very much.
Be sure to follow us on Two Guys Talk Sports on YouTube and on Facebook, and Two Guys Talk Sports and other things on YouTube for more great content like this. And like I said, I will have more guests on for next week, and we'll have Jake back in 2 weeks' time. For now, this is Tyler Lavalette.
And Jim Power saying peace, love, and peace out.
Have a good night, everyone.